Shalom. First off, I want to start up and saying all praises, honor, and glory is due unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Akarkadash. That's all praises to the world calls God, whose true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh, Ba'ashem meaning in the name, and Yahushai being the name of the only begotten Son. Also want to say double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy to the hopeful elect preaching his word in truth and sincerity on the brother Tazabah in the Great Millstone, Arizona Camp Lowell with another video to edify. Now I'm gonna play this and get some articles. Ultimately, the staff of bread is being broken, right? So Lord willing, it's edifying.
Are at war. Lebanon, like other countries in the Middle East and North Africa, can no longer rely on them for most of their imports. They're now trying to make up for an expected shortage.
We've reached out to a number of countries, including the US, India, Canada, and some European countries, which produce the soft wheat we need for our bread.
But the problem is not just finding alternative sources. Diversifying supplies could mean transportation delays or an increase in shipping costs. Wheat prices have already hit a 14-year high.
Definitely we will resort to more expensive countries that export wheat, which would sell to us at prices that are not as cheap as in Russia and Ukraine. So if the conflict is prolonged and supply is less, this will add pressure on balance of payments or the budget.
Egypt, for example, is one of the largest importers of wheat in the world, and 80% of its supply is from Ukraine and Russia. It is considering raising the price of bread for the first time in 3 decades. It's no different in Lebanon, where authorities warn the central bank may not be able to subsidize bread if prices continue to rise. The Tunisian government, which is believed to be running out of money, has been rationing flour and reduced bread production. Increase in prices will affect millions of people in the Middle East and North Africa who live in poverty.
The Ukrainian-Russian war will affect import, export, and trade because we are all importers of wheat, and most of the foodstuffs are from abroad.
Across this region, economies have been hit by inflation and large public debts. Others have been destroyed by war. Syria no longer produces enough wheat to feed its population, so it relies on imports and is now rationing wheat.
You see, that staff of bread, right? What you're seeing now is the staff of bread being broken. All right, let me start off with this one. This is Tobit 4:13. It says, "Now therefore, my son, love thy brethren and despise not in thy heart thy brethren, the sons and daughters of thy people, and not taking a wife of them. For in pride is destruction and much trouble, and lewdness is decay and great want. For lewdness is the mother of famine." And this is exactly why famine is being pushed on the earth as it is, man. Because of the lewdness that's been going around here, man. When you really look at the grand scheme, people have inordinate lust at an all-time high in every nation. Let's get that. Right. So the word lewd means what? Non-clerical, unlearned, of a certain origin, ultimately from vulgar Latin, belonging to the people, unlettered, uneducated, coarse, vile, lustful. Right? Now when you look at that word lewdness, go to pull up the word lechery. Lewdness in living, habitable, lustful, indulgence, right? Debauched man, right? And this is what the entire world's under. It's under a lewd mindset, a lewd behavior, right? Women are out of control, and a lot of men don't even fucking track these women, right? Here it is. You got, Camel Toe Harris right there, cackling and shit. Yeah, that's a lewd motherfucker right there, bro. How do you think she got to that position? She sucked her way to the top, right? And now the world's being faced with famine, and the scriptures tell you. Let me get it. This is Ezekiel 14 and 13. It says, Son of man, it says, when the land sinned against me by trespassing grievously, and all the world has trespassed against the Lord grievously. All the world. All you heathen has trespassed against the Lord by putting his people to death in the ways and means that you've done, right? You heathen will sit here and use Israel as a jump off to make a point, but you'll never do anything to sit here and help us. So at the end of the day, you motherfuckers have sinned grievously. It says, then will I stretch out my hand upon it, and I will break the staff of bread thereof, and I will send famine upon it, and will cut off man and beast from it. And this is what's getting prepared. It says, though these three men, Noah, Daniel, and Job, were in it, they should deliver but their own souls by their righteousness, say Yahweh. In that grievous famine, right? That breaking of the staff of bread is here. Now, peep this. It says Russian wheat exports plunge. It says supplies to the global market are down by nearly a third since July. This is the world's largest exporter of wheat. Russia supplied 23 million tons of crop to the global market since the beginning of 2021 to 2022. Agricultural year, July 1st, 2021. It says to March 10th. The Ministry of Agriculture said on Monday that is 30.9% lower than the figure for the same date last season. Right? The Lord is sitting there, dampening the food supply. Right? It says the country's overall grain exports are also down, with the barley deliveries falling by 34.7% to 2.9 million tons, and corn shipments declining by 21.7% to 1.8 million tons. You see, those are the two biggest crops, corn and wheat. And here it is. Some of the largest global suppliers aren't producing and aren't shipping out as much and trading on the open market, right? Now I put it in on Google. It says how much is Russia? How much wheat is Russia and Ukraine responsible for globally? And this is what it came up with. It says combined, Russia and Ukraine are estimated to be responsible for almost 30%, a third of global wheat exports. Right? The Lord is preparing that famine, and you can't get out of it. He's breaking a staff of bread. Let's see if we can get more on that, man. All right, the staff of bread. It says, Ezekiel 5 and 16. It says, when I shall send upon them the evil arrows of famine, which shall be for their destruction, in which I will send to destroy you, I will even increase the famine upon you, and will break your staff of bread. This is what's happening, right? And they're doing this all in the means of sitting there pushing the MOTB, right? Because they're stewards of history, right? Esau has gotten great gain, right? Let's get that wisdom. This is Ezekiel 28 and 5. It says, by thy great wisdom and by thy traffic hast thou increased thy riches, and our heart is lifted up because of thy riches. And this is going into Esau Edom, right? By his great wisdom and by his traffic, this devil's planning is to get great riches. But what he's dealing in the future is going to be the souls of men, because just like in the old time, right? When the money failed in Egypt, right? This is Genesis 47. And in 13 it says, and there was no bread in all the land, for the famine was very sore, so that the land of Egypt and all the land of Canaan fainted by reason of the famine. It says, and Joseph gathered up all the money that was found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the corn which they bought, and Joseph bought the money into Pharaoh's house. And when the money failed in the land of Egypt, and this is what they're doing, they're funneling the wealth, and then they're thinning out the supply of goods to put you people back in this position. It says, and when the money failed in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joshua and said, give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence? For the money faileth. It says, and Joseph said, give your cattle, and I will give you for your cattle if money fell. It says, and they brought their cattle unto Joseph, and Joseph gave them bread in exchange for horses, and for the flocks, and for the cattle of the herds, and for the asses, and he fed them with bread for all their cattle for that year. And when the year was ended, they came unto him the second year, and said unto him, we will not hide it from my Lord, how that our money is spent. My Lord also had our herds of cattle. There is not oft left in the sight of my Lord, but our bodies and our lands. Wherefore shall we die before thine eyes, both we and our land? Buy us and our land for bread, and we and our land will be servants unto Pharaoh. Give us seed that we may live, and die not, and not die, that the land be not desolate. You see, they were selling out because of the famine, and what these devils are talking about, centralized crypto bank currencies, right? CBDCs, right? They're talking about these things, right? And so what is that going to bring? That's going to build right into the mark of the beast, right? The MOTB, right? And they're going to push this off the back of that, because famine is getting prepared. In a way in which famine is going to be in this land, it's going to be like nothing ever before, because back in the old days, people understood that they can eat grass, that they can eat bark of the tree, that they could boil the shoe leather, right, to have something to eat. But nowadays, a lot of people don't even understand that. So imagine what it's going to be like in these days. That famine is going to hit, and when it hits, it's going to hit hard, right? The scriptures talk about a man shall eat, right? The flesh. Let me get it. This is Jeremiah 19:9. It says, and I will cause them to eat the flesh of their sons, and the flesh of their daughters, and they shall eat every one the flesh of his friend in the siege, and in the straightness wherewith their enemies, and they that seek their life shall straighten them. Right? Cannibalism. Let me get this one. This is Isaiah 9 and 20. It says, and he shall snatch on the right hand and be hungry, and he shall eat on the left, and they shall not be satisfied. They shall eat every man the flesh of his own arm. This is in the time of famine, man. You imagine how bad that hunger has got to be for you to look at your own self as a means for a meal. But this is what's getting prepared, man, and they're putting the squeeze all out, right? So if you're not in this truth, this is your recompense. That's what's coming for you. But ultimately, for brothers that are in this, the Lord said, "What my servants shall eat." And you get that. In Isaiah 65 and 13, therefore, thus say Yahweh, power, behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, my servant shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit. You see? The Lord's gonna set something up to where all of us are able to eat. The elect. If you've done right by the Lord, hey, have confidence that the Lord is gonna sit here and make sure that He takes care of you. It's nothing better than to see the Lord work to make sure you find, man, and brothers are gonna see great things in these days. Like the Lord's gonna make sure his men, you know, the women that believe, the men and their children, right? The Lord said, what? Let me get this. This is 2nd Ezra 2 and 26. It says, as for the servants whom I have given thee, there shall not one of them perish, for I will require them from among thy number, going into the elect. Be not weary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. The heathen shall envy thee, but they shall not be able to do they shall be able to do nothing against thee. Say Yahweh, my hand shall cover thee, so that thy children shall not see hell. Right? The Lord is going to set up a defense, and these are words you can bank on. Right? Let me get this one, and I'll end it on this. I think it's this one. No, that's not it. Man, I'm trying to think of the right one. All right. This is 2 Timothy 2 and 11. It says, it is a faithful saying, for if we be dead with him, we shall also live with him. If we suffer, we shall also reign with him. If we deny him, he will also deny us. If we believe not, yet he abideth faithful. He cannot deny himself. Right? The Lord said these things, man. And he's going to abide faithful by those things. We're going to be taken care of, man. Just hold on, you know. So Lord willing, this is edifying. I'm going to say, call Allah, Yahweh Bashim Shai, Bashim Karkadash. Shalom.